6,000 years ago, there was this creator God that existed, and he created man. And when this creator God created man, he set the world into an existence that was perfect. As a matter of fact, as he described it, it was very good. Everything had an order. Everything had a place. Everything had a reason. Everything had a specific timing to it. And it's amazing how intricate God created this very earth that we exist in today, that we look at it and we say, wow, what disorder we live in and what a mess we live in. But that's not how it was initially created. And then you have the fall of man. You have Satan enters the picture, and in and through temptation, he tempts man, and man falls for that temptation and literally messes the whole plan up. So you have the creation of man, you have the fall of man, which presents a problem. And that is that God created us for his glory. So in order for him to get glory, he processes this redemption plan. And so he redeems us. The very Son of God, the very flesh of God, the very Word of God comes down and exists with us. He dwells among us. He's Emmanuel. He's God with us. And he comes down for the purpose, and that is to restore us back to what we originally were intended to do. And through that redemption process, we are now able to fulfill what God intended for us. And that may not be very exciting to you tonight, but for me, that's one of the most encouraging things that I can understand as a Christian post-salvation. Is that what God created me for, I still am capable of through the manifestation of his Son, Jesus Christ, and the sacrifice he paid. So we've got the creation of man, we've got the fall of man, now we've got the redemption of man. The problem is in most churches and in most Christians, we stop with the redemption of mankind. We've got the restoration back to what God intended for you. See, here's the disconnect. In salvation, we see this opportunity to reconcile back to Jesus Christ. We see the opportunity to escape hell and spend eternity with Jesus in heaven. We see all of these benefits. However, we never follow through with this last part, and that is this process of transformation. I look at where Christians are today, and I see that God has intended us for a purpose, and even though we could not fulfill that purpose, he came along and sacrificed himself in order for us to be able to get back on track and fulfill the purpose that he intended for our lives. And I look at my life, and I have to constantly gauge my life through that lens every single day to say, what has God intended me for? And am I fulfilling that purpose? Because I know that the only true satisfaction and the only joy in this life comes from fulfilling that purpose. And I got to be honest with you. Until you change this process in your mind where you say, you know what? God is a God who is looking out for himself, to saying God is a God who is looking out for me to help me fulfill his purpose, which ultimately is looking out for himself, but I am in that plan, then you start seeing the opportunities of life. I want to just go through what God has done in the past 2 to 3 months. Every single one of these places on the map represents a relationship that I have that they say, if you will just provide the preaching, we will provide the outlet for it. I estimated, and I spoke with a man that said he believed that he, for about a 2-week period in 1998, preached the gospel to the whole world. He felt like he did his best, and he spent nearly $114 million to do it. And our opportunity is almost free. Right now, if I had content, if I had gospel preaching on video, we could literally be preaching to 3 billion people. And that opportunity has almost haunted me at nighttime where I can't sleep, and I'm saying, God, I see it. I see it. I don't know how to do it. I've thought about in recent days what we used to sell advertising time for. I remember selling a commercial for $1,200 for a 30-second commercial in the morning, and I remember the people that would pay it. And I remember the, potentially in that 30 seconds, the 6 million people they would reach. We were talking today, and he reminded me of Super Bowl ads, and he said, what's a Super Bowl? What do they pay for a Super Bowl ad? So they pay $3 million for a 30-second commercial. And exponentially, it's larger. They reached close to 600 million people in the Super Bowl. But 600 million compared to the 3 billion that we have the opportunity to preach to right now seems so much more valuable than anything that you look at in this world. I'm so grateful to be a part of it.